Hi, I'm Sue.
Hi, I'm Ashley.
Nice to meet you, Ashley.
You too.
So what brings you in today, Ashley?
I wanted to talk about my mother who has an addiction to pain medication, narcotics.
So how long has her addiction been going on?
Roughly, she had back surgery approximately 3 years ago, and that's where it stemmed originally from the first surgery, so about 3 years.
So it's been 3 years. So what is going on with her right now?
Currently, right now, she has moved out of the house. My dad and her have gotten a divorce, and she is more isolated. I have no contact with her currently.
So how long has the no contact been going on?
It has been going on since February. No contact at all, no phone, no texting, nothing at all.
Okay, so tell me how that makes you feel and how that's affected your life.
It makes me feel, well, as you know, I'm a nurse, so the nurse part, I understand she's very manipulative, so that makes me feel very sure that I'm doing the right thing. However, as a mother-daughter situation, it makes me more sad.
Okay, so why don't you tell me about how your relationship was with your mom before the drug addiction started?
Okay, before the drug addiction, we were, your typical mom-daughter days. We would go shopping, go out to lunch. I have a grandson, my son is her grandson, only grandson, so she had a very strong relationship with him prior to this diagnosis. So we had a very rock-solid relationship.
Okay, so it sounds like that this drug addiction has not only affected you and your relationship, but also with your son?
Correct, and I guess that's where I feel more hatred towards her because she's allowed it to spin that much out of control.
Okay, so have you talked to your son about the problems with your mom?
I have talked to my son. I vent to him sometimes more than I should, and he is seeing the counselor at school for the change in his family dynamics.
Okay. So is this the first time that you've actually talked to somebody about the problems that you're having with your mom?
Yes. Except friends. I talk to friends, periodically, but no, nobody in this specialty field.
Okay, so why don't you tell me about the feelings that you have? What types of feelings are you having, not only with your mom, but how is this affecting your life negatively?
Towards my mom, feelings-wise, I have a lot of resentment towards her and hatred. For my life, it makes me open my eyes to how these doctors misdiagnose people with chronic pain and put them on narcotics. That leads to this. It's made me a very strong person. I feel that it's easier for me to cut people off and give them another chance. So it's made me very strong.
So this has not only affected your relationship with her, but also with other people?
Correct. Yes. Relationships, personal relationships, friendships. It's really opened my eyes because you would always hear about this on the news and stuff, and you would always think it was more indigent class people. And in reality, it's more middle class because they can afford it.
And it does affect every social class.
Oh, yes. But you never really think it's going to affect your home life.
Right. Okay, so let's talk some more about your son, what he's dealing with, and how this is affecting you. I understand that your son is having some trouble in school.
Yes.
Do you feel like that this might be?
Yes, I feel my parents were married for 40 years. My son's 10. We would live with him for a few years when I was in nursing school. My mom would pick him up at school, take him to lunch. They would just go to Walmart, get him some toys. They had a very strong bond that nobody could break. Since then, I noticed my son is not as resilient as problems, however, shuts people out as I do. The family tree, he always says it's difficult to do at school. So I see that he hides his emotions more. So seeking out counseling at school, I think, is beneficial for him at this time.
Yeah, that's definitely going to help him. And especially it's going to help him with getting somebody else's point of view, not just your point of view, because it sounds like you have a lot of anger towards your mom.
Right.
So to let him speak with somebody else who's impartial is definitely a good thing to do.
Right. I think that it's good, like you said, for him to talk to someone neutral. My dad and him still have a strong relationship. However, my dad doesn't speak about the situation of my son at all.
So how has your mom and dad's divorce affected you?
It's affected me. Before this, they didn't have the best relationship. They were very withdrawn from each other, didn't do things as a family. One would sit in the living room, one would be in the bedroom. So I think this was the icing on the cake. However, I think it kind of shows possibly years ago she had this problem, and it just didn't surface up until a few years ago.
Okay, so the problems might have been there, some issues and problems, but the drug addiction, like you said, may have just been the icing on the cake too.
Right. She became very argumentative, manipulative, withdrawn. You could tell if she didn't have the medication, she would just lay in the room all day. You know, she was always played the victim in every scenario, in every problem.
Okay, so do you feel like you've had to grow up and...
Yes, I feel like I have, and I feel like it's made me a stronger nurse in my career, assessment-wise. You know, and it's given me different outlets of different resources that she could seek out. However, she's declined every opportunity. So until she feels that she has a problem, I don't see her building any relationships with her family.
And that's a big problem. Most drug addicts don't think they have a problem, so the offer of help is not ever taken. So you and your family have tried to seek help for her?
Yes, we've offered her plenty of rehab facilities. She's went through her health insurance of programs that they offer around here at different facilities, churches, and she's declined every opportunity. She feels that she doesn't have the problem, that we just attack her in every which manner.
Okay, so at this point you don't really have any relationship with her. Are you at this time just willing to just let her go along in her drug addiction until she chooses to get help? Or do you feel that you need some assistance reaching out to her or finding resources for her? Or are you past that point where you don't think you can do that again?
About 2 months ago, I thought that I could cut her out, and I ran into a mutual friend that I know that had told me she saw her, and I thought at the time I should try to reach out and rebuild that bond. However, it backfired more so because she's only became more manipulative and dances around any questions or suggestions I have about what she's done to better herself or to get help. She always strays away from the question.
So it sounds like at this point you are trying to get help for her, even though you say you've cut her out. You're still trying in different ways, and she always denies the problem and skirts around the problem, and never does try to get the help.
Yes, she has even went to the Women's Crisis Center in Covington to seek out help, and I think they helped furnish a small apartment. You know, her relationship with her mother has changed. They put her in a nursing home.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
They put her in a nursing facility due to her dementia, and I think that's taken a toll on my mom. So I think it's only escalated her need for this medication to help numb her feelings and get her through all this.
Absolutely. Okay, so it sounds like your mom is at a crossroads now where the relationships with everyone in her family are not with her anymore, so her need for the drug is even more. So it sounds like it's at a crisis situation for your mom at this point.
Yes, and she will call occasionally my brother, which doesn't live around here, which he's a doctor, and she will say she has car problems to get money. She's doing all of her resources, abusing every relationship she has to find money to help crave her. And my fear for her is eventually the money runs out, so then they start to stem lower as in the heroin because it's cheaper.
It's a more dangerous situation.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ashley, well, I really had a nice time talking and chatting with you today about your problem. And what we're going to do at this point is to just start looking at some resources to maybe not only help your mom get out of this situation, but for you as well to help you deal with it. And if your mom chooses not to get help, at least we can help you learn how to cope through that.
Perfect. I really appreciate your time today with Sandfoss.
It was nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.